This is Roger Struckoff with Syscon TV at Cloud Expo East in New York in 2016, and we're joined right now by Rebecca Thompson with Avere. And for some reason, at Cloud Expo, she wants to talk about cloud, so we will. Specifically, I think hybrid cloud, and then maybe we'll get into a little HPC stuff as well. Rebecca, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell about what you do and why we should talk about hybrid cloud and what you're doing about it.
All right, so Avere Systems, we are a hybrid cloud solution provider. We have customers that want to use cloud storage. We have customers that want to take advantage of cloud compute. And we help them do that with three of the largest cloud providers out there, both AWS, the Google Cloud Platform, as well as Azure. And so we originally started out in life helping people with performance and latency issues with their network attached storage. Yeah. Those same customers then came to us and said, as the cloud started to take off, initially they said, what we really like to do is never buy another disk from our major storage provider. What we'd like to do is to be able to take data that is no longer accessed very frequently and send that off to the cloud. Can you help us do that?
Mm-hmm. And you said, yes, we can. However, level of complexity involved here. It's interesting you mentioned the three platforms. You read in sort of general media how AWS has already won. I'm not sure that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I think they had a head start on everybody else, and there is obviously a first mover advantage you have in any of the market, and AWS has a great product, great people, and a great service. That being said, I mean, there are other cloud providers. We work also with Google and Azure, and I'd say, Google is an interesting one because they have a very much of a focus on high-performance compute applications, which overlaps very nicely with Avere's customer set. So these are people that, for example, are in financial services and interested in doing things like simulations, life sciences, so genomic processing, a lot of data to store there. And then also, we work a lot in the entertainment industry and specifically with the special effects. And so they're pretty strong there. And then Azure's coming along as well, and in particular for anybody that has Windows-based applications and Windows development shop, Azure is a natural fit platform because the development environment is very similar on the cloud as it is on-premise.
Yeah, because, I kind of live in the world of software developers to a large degree, and I hear a lot of people talking about, they spin up an instance of AWS, they're testing stuff, they're I wouldn't say playing, but they're developing. You're talking about deploying really much more massive scale, not really that simple.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Our customers definitely are not playing with the cloud, but I would say, with the exception of a handful of our customers, most people aren't all in the cloud. Right, they still have their on-premises data centers, they still have their on-premises compute and storage, but there are certain applications they've decided to move to the cloud, or there are certain types of data storage they've decided to move to the cloud, and that's what they're working with us on. So they may have decided, I'll use life sciences as an example. The people that do genomic processing, it produces an enormous amount of data. I think most of the big genomic labs are on record as saying they cannot build data centers fast enough to store all of the data, and they don't need access to every bit of it every day. And they also have a need to collaborate with other research entities. So the cloud is a natural home for all of that data, and that makes a lot of sense.
And saying and doing it are two different things. You're the company that's doing it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reason why customers come to us is because Avere has a reputation. Before we were in the cloud, we offered very high performance, highly available network attached storage solutions for on-premises deployments within data centers, and for those types of customers. So they trusted us. They knew that our stuff would scale. They knew that they could reliably count on the failover and all of those types of things. That's actually really important.
How do people find you online? I mean, what's your URL, and what are they going to find when they get there, and what's the best way for people to really learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, so you can go out to, it's www.averesystems, A-V-E-R-E systems.com. You can go onto our website. We have, sort of animated diagrams with how all of the hybrid cloud solutions works. We have probably over 24 case studies of actual customers and what they're doing in the cloud that you can read about. We have a whole video library of, how the product works in tutorials that people can check out as well.
And I got to just do one more follow-up. I keep thinking about performance and latency with NAS. So the old lessons come back. I mean, the same issues came up in the cloud. So how did you literally kind of leverage knowledge from those days?
Absolutely. So the whole idea, the only way, the only way you're going to get rid of latency is to put the compute right next to the user. And in this case, when we talk about high performance computing, that user is the data, so the user's the data, and then you need to put it right next to that compute farm. So in order to get rid of that latency, that's why we created a virtual version of our product. We spin up in the cloud, we put it right next to that compute farm, and that way you don't have that physical latency. You have the physical latency while you're moving data to the cloud, right, and then sending it back, but while it's up in the cloud, you want to have it all cached up there and ready to go.
Yes, I like that. I wouldn't have figured out how to do that. That's fantastic stuff. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching. For Syscon TV, this is Roger Struckoff.